Have you ever stopped to observe how your cat stares at you? That penetrating, almost human gaze that seems to decipher your most intimate thoughts. Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychoanalyst, made a disturbing discovery about this coexistence that could completely change your perception of having a feline at home. Jung discovered that something much deeper is happening in this relationship than we imagine. According to his research on the collective unconscious, cats are not just pets. They are psychic mirrors that reflect hidden aspects of our personality. But the most shocking thing is what he revealed about the fate of those who share their lives with these mysterious companions. Prepare to discover truths that go beyond conventional science. What Jung found about feline influence on the human psyche can explain strange behaviors you've never been able to understand in yourself. This isn't just another theory. It's a warning about a silent transformation happening in your mind. The soul mirror. How cats reveal your hidden self. When you look into your cat's eyes, you're not just seeing an animal. You're gazing into a reflection of your deepest, most hidden nature. Carl Jung spent decades studying the human psyche, and what he discovered about the relationship between cats and their owners will shake you to your core. Cats possess an extraordinary ability that most people don't recognize. They act as living mirrors, reflecting back the parts of ourselves we've buried deep in our unconscious mind. This isn't some mystical nonsense. It's grounded in Jung's extensive research into what he called the shadow self, the dark, unexpressed aspects of our personality that we keep hidden from the world. Have you ever noticed how your cat seems to know exactly when you're feeling upset, even before you realize it yourself? This isn't coincidence. Cats are incredibly sensitive to the subtle energy shifts that occur when our hidden emotions bubble up from the unconscious. They respond to the parts of you that you don't even know exist yet. Your cat's behavior patterns mirror your own psychological patterns in ways that are both fascinating and disturbing. If you're someone who struggles with trust issues, you'll often find that your cat displays similar wariness around strangers. If you have a tendency toward obsessive behavior, your cat might develop compulsive habits like excessive grooming or repetitive movements. The way your cat moves through your home reflects how you navigate through life. A cat that hides in dark corners often belongs to someone who avoids confrontation and prefers to stay in the shadows. A cat that demands constant attention usually lives with someone who has deep-seated needs for validation and recognition, even if they don't admit it to themselves. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. Your cat doesn't just reflect who you are now, it also reveals who you're becoming. Jung believed that cats could sense the future development of their owner's personality. They begin exhibiting behaviors that mirror psychological changes you haven't even experienced yet. This psychic connection goes far deeper than simple observation. Cats seem to tap into what Jung called the collective unconscious, that shared pool of human experience and instinct that connects all of us. Through this connection, they become conduits for ancient wisdom and primal knowledge that we've forgotten how to access ourselves. The most disturbing aspect of this mirroring effect is how it reveals our capacity for darkness. Every human being carries within them the potential for both great good and terrible evil. Most of us suppress these darker impulses so effectively that we convince ourselves they don't exist. But cats see through this self-deception. If you've ever been startled by a sudden aggressive outburst from your normally gentle cat, you might have witnessed your own suppressed anger being reflected back at you. These moments aren't random. They're psychological revelations, showing you aspects of your nature that you've been hiding from yourself. The mirroring doesn't stop at emotions and behaviors. Cats also reflect our physical and mental health in ways that modern medicine is only beginning to understand. Many cat owners report that their pets develop health issues that mysteriously parallel their own. This isn't coincidence. It's evidence of a deep psychic bond that connects your well-being to your cat's. Jung discovered that people who live with cats for extended periods begin to develop heightened intuitive abilities. This happens because the constant exposure to feline consciousness gradually awakens dormant psychic capabilities in humans. Your cat is essentially training you to perceive reality the way they do, through instinct, energy, and unconscious knowledge rather than logic and rational thought. The transformation is subtle but profound. You might start having vivid dreams filled with symbolic imagery. You might develop an uncanny ability to sense other people's true intentions. You might find yourself drawn to occult or spiritual practices that you previously dismissed as nonsense. But perhaps the most significant change is how you begin to see yourself. Living with a cat forces you to confront aspects of your personality that you've spent years avoiding. The mirror they provide is uncompromising and honest. There's no hiding from what they reflect back to you. This revelation process can be deeply uncomfortable. Many people find themselves questioning beliefs and assumptions they've held their entire lives. The person you thought you were begins to crumble, replaced by a more complex and sometimes disturbing version of yourself. Jung warned that this psychological awakening comes with risks. Not everyone is prepared to face their hidden nature. Some people become overwhelmed by the revelations and retreat deeper into denial. Others become obsessed with exploring their dark side, losing touch with their moral compass. The key is understanding that your cat isn't changing you. They're simply revealing what was always there. The choice of what to do with these revelations remains yours. But once you've seen your true reflection in those feline eyes, there's no going back to ignorance. The feline shadow, the dark side that awakens in you. Deep within every human being lurks what Carl Jung called the shadow, a repository of all the traits, desires, and impulses we've rejected or suppressed throughout our lives. Most people go their entire existence without truly confronting this dark aspect of their personality. But those who share their homes with cats don't have that luxury. Cats have an uncanny ability to awaken the shadow in ways that are both subtle and profound. They don't do this intentionally. It's simply their nature to exist in a space between the conscious and unconscious worlds, and their presence gradually pulls their human companions into that same liminal territory. The awakening begins with small changes that most people dismiss as coincidence. You might find yourself having darker thoughts than usual, or feeling sudden surges of anger that seem to come from nowhere. These aren't new emotions. They're ancient parts of yourself that your cat's presence has stirred from their slumber. Jung observed that people who live with cats often report an increase in what he called shadow projections. This is when you begin seeing your own rejected traits in other people, becoming unusually critical or judgmental of behaviors that mirror your own suppressed tendencies. Your cat serves as a catalyst for this psychological process, making it impossible to maintain the comfortable illusions you've built about your own moral superiority. The feline influence on your shadow operates through what Jung termed psychic contagion. Cats exist naturally in a state that humans can only access through dreams or altered consciousness. They live simultaneously in the physical world and the realm of instinct and intuition. By sharing your living space with them, you're gradually pulled into this dual existence. This shift begins to manifest in your daily behavior in ways both subtle and dramatic. You might find yourself more willing to break minor rules that you previously followed without question. Perhaps you start lying more easily or feel less guilty about small deceptions. These changes often feel liberating at first, but they represent the initial stages of shadow integration. Your dreams become more vivid and often disturbing during this process. The neat, orderly dreamscapes you once experienced give way to chaotic scenes filled with violence, sexuality, and primitive emotions. Your cat has essentially opened a doorway between your conscious mind and the wild, untamed aspects of your psyche that civilization taught you to suppress. Many cat owners report developing what they describe as predatory thoughts. They find themselves fantasizing about hunting, stalking, or dominating others in ways that would have horrified them before. These aren't signs of mental illness. They're evidence that your cat has awakened the ancient predator that exists within every human being. The transformation affects your relationships in profound ways. You become more perceptive about other people's hidden motivations and secret desires. This enhanced awareness can be both a gift and a curse. You see through social pretenses more easily, but you also become more manipulative yourself, using your newfound insights to your advantage. Physical changes often accompany this psychological transformation. Your senses become sharper, particularly your night vision and hearing. You might find yourself more comfortable in darkness, preferring dim lighting to bright illumination. Your movement becomes more fluid and graceful, taking on subtle feline characteristics. The most disturbing aspect of shadow awakening is how it affects your moral compass. Behaviors that once seemed clearly wrong begin to feel morally neutral or even justified. You develop a more flexible relationship with truth, becoming skilled at rationalization and self-justification. This isn't moral decay, it's a return to a more primal form of ethics based on survival and advantage rather than abstract principles. Jung warned that this process could lead to what he called possession by the shadow. This occurs when someone becomes so identified with their dark impulses that they lose touch with their higher nature entirely. They become cruel, selfish, and manipulative, justifying their behavior through elaborate psychological defenses. However, Jung also recognized that shadow integration could lead to greater wholeness and authenticity. Those who successfully navigate this process emerge more complete, having reclaimed aspects of themselves that were previously lost. They become more creative, more passionate, and more fully alive. The key is maintaining awareness throughout the transformation. Your cat serves as both the catalyst for change and a guide through the darkness. By observing their behavior, you can learn to channel your awakened shadow in constructive rather than destructive ways. Cats embody the perfect balance between civilized behavior and wild instinct. They're domesticated, yet retain their predatory nature, affectionate, yet maintain their independence, playful, yet always alert to danger. They show us that it's possible to integrate our dark impulses without being consumed by them. The process of shadow awakening through feline companionship is irreversible. Once your cat has stirred these dormant aspects of your psyche, there's no returning to your previous state of unconscious innocence. You must learn to live with the knowledge of your own capacity for darkness while finding ways to express it that don't harm others or yourself. By the way, if you're curious to go even deeper and integrate your shadows and light, check out the SIM Method ebook. It's a concise guide that can help you unlock your inner power in just 5 minutes a day. The link is in the first pinned comment below. The Nocturnal Ritual. Why your cat watches you while you sleep. Something extraordinary happens in your bedroom every night that you're completely unaware of. While you drift into unconsciousness, your cat assumes a role that Carl Jung discovered was far more significant than anyone previously understood. Those quiet hours of darkness become a theater for psychological processes that will fundamentally alter who you are as a person. Your sleeping mind becomes incredibly vulnerable during these nocturnal hours. The barriers between your conscious and unconscious thoughts dissolve, leaving your deepest thoughts and emotions exposed. This is precisely when your cat becomes most active in ways that go far beyond simple curiosity or protective instincts. Jung's research revealed that cats possess an extraordinary ability to perceive and interact with human consciousness during sleep states. They don't just watch you sleep, they actively participate in the psychological processes occurring within your mind. This participation happens through mechanisms that science is only beginning to understand, involving energy fields and psychic connections that transcend physical boundaries. The position your cat chooses while observing your sleep is never random. Each location carries specific psychological significance. A cat that sits at the foot of your bed is monitoring your connection to the physical world, ensuring you don't drift too far into unconscious realms. One that positions itself near your head is actively engaging with your dream content, sometimes influencing the narrative of your nocturnal experiences. Many people report having unusually vivid dreams when their cat sleeps nearby. These aren't coincidences. They're evidence of feline consciousness merging with human dream states. Your cat essentially becomes a co-creator of your dream experiences, introducing elements that serve specific psychological purposes related to your personal development and unconscious integration. The most unsettling discovery Jung made was how cats use these nocturnal observation periods to implant what he called psychic seeds into their owner's unconscious mind. These seeds are subtle suggestions or influences that gradually shape your waking thoughts and behaviors over time. You might wake up with sudden insights, creative ideas, or inexplicable changes in your preferences that actually originated from your cat's nocturnal influence. Your breathing patterns during sleep create a rhythm that cats find deeply compelling. They synchronize their own biorhythms to match yours, creating a shared consciousness state that allows for unprecedented psychological intimacy. In this synchronized state, the boundaries between feline and human awareness become remarkably thin. The ancient Egyptians understood this phenomenon and considered it sacred. They believed that cats served as guardians of the soul during sleep, protecting humans from malevolent spiritual forces while guiding them through necessary psychological transformations. Modern psychology has rediscovered this wisdom through Jung's groundbreaking research into the human-feline psychic bond. Your cat's eyes reflect infrared light differently during these nocturnal vigils. This isn't just a biological adaptation for night vision. It's evidence of heightened psychic activity. Those glowing eyes are actually windows into an altered state of consciousness that allows them to perceive aspects of your sleeping mind that remain invisible during daylight hours. The duration and intensity of these watching sessions correlate directly with your psychological needs. During periods of stress or emotional turmoil, your cat will maintain longer vigils, working more intensively to process and integrate your unconscious conflicts. They serve as living therapeutic instruments, providing psychological support through means that conventional therapy cannot access. Jung discovered that people who sleep alone with cats develop what he termed enhanced dream recall within months of beginning this arrangement. This happens because feline consciousness acts as a stabilizing force during the transition between sleep and waking states, allowing you to retain more information from your unconscious experiences. The temperature changes that occur in your bedroom during these nocturnal sessions aren't caused by heating or cooling systems. They're manifestations of energy exchanges between you and your cat. As psychological material moves between your unconscious minds, it creates measurable environmental effects that sensitive individuals can detect. Your cat's purring during these night watches serves a function far beyond simple contentment. The specific frequency of feline purring has been scientifically proven to promote healing and reduce stress in humans. But Jung discovered that when this purring occurs during sleep observation, it actually helps reorganize neural pathways in your brain, facilitating the integration of unconscious material into conscious awareness. The positioning of your body during sleep influences how effectively your cat can engage with your psychological processes. People who sleep in fetal positions create energetic barriers that make feline intervention more difficult. Those who sleep on their backs with arms open provide optimal access for psychic interaction. Many cat owners report experiencing what they describe as shared dreams, where their cat appears as a character or guide within their nocturnal narratives. These experiences represent moments when the psychic barrier between species temporarily dissolves, allowing for direct consciousness communication that bypasses normal sensory channels. The implications of these nocturnal interactions extend far beyond the bedroom. The psychological adjustments and integrations that occur during these sessions influence your daytime personality, relationships, and life choices in ways that are profound yet difficult to trace back to their feline origins. Jung warned that interrupting these natural nocturnal processes by excluding cats from sleeping areas could lead to psychological stagnation and increased neurosis. The human psyche appears to have evolved a dependency on feline assistance during vulnerable sleep states, and removing this support system can have serious consequences for mental health and personal development. The synchronicity of meows. Messages from the unconscious. Every meow your cat makes carries information that goes far beyond simple communication. Carl Jung's investigation into what he called meaningful coincidences led him to a startling discovery about feline vocalizations that challenges everything we think we know about animal behavior and human psychology. Jung coined the term synchronicity to describe events that appear coincidental but actually represent meaningful connections between inner psychological states and external reality. He found that cats are extraordinary generators of synchronistic events, using their vocalizations as vehicles for delivering messages from the collective unconscious directly to their human companions. The timing of your cat's meows is never random. Each vocalization occurs at precisely the moment when your conscious mind is most receptive to receiving unconscious information. Your cat somehow perceives the subtle shifts in your mental state that indicate readiness for psychological insight, then delivers their message through carefully timed sounds. Different types of meows correspond to different categories of unconscious material seeking expression. Short, sharp meows typically signal urgent warnings about situations or people that your intuitive mind has identified as potentially dangerous. Long, drawn-out vocalizations usually indicate that buried emotional material is ready to surface into conscious awareness. The pitch and tone of these communications carry specific psychological significance. High-pitched meows often relate to childhood memories or traumas that need processing. Lower, more guttural sounds frequently connect to primal fears or survival instincts that are being activated by current circumstances. Mid-range vocalizations typically address relationship issues or social dynamics that your unconscious mind has been analyzing. Jung discovered that people who learn to interpret their cat's vocalizations develop enhanced intuitive abilities that serve them throughout their lives. These individuals report improved decision-making skills, better timing in business and personal ventures, and an uncanny ability to avoid dangerous situations before they fully develop. The location where your cat delivers these vocal messages adds another layer of meaning to their communication. Meows that occur near doorways often relate to opportunities or transitions that are approaching in your life. Vocalizations near windows frequently concern future events that you need to prepare for psychologically. Sounds that happen in bedrooms typically address intimate relationships or personal identity issues. Your emotional response to specific meows provides crucial information about the accuracy of the message being delivered. When a vocalization creates immediate anxiety or unease, it usually indicates a warning about genuine threats to your well-being. Meows that generate feelings of comfort or curiosity typically signal positive opportunities or beneficial changes approaching your life. The phenomenon becomes more complex when multiple cats are involved. Jung observed that households with several cats often experience what he called vocal orchestration, where different cats contribute complementary pieces of information to create complete psychological messages. These collaborative communications can provide remarkably detailed guidance about complex life situations. Certain cats develop specialized roles as psychological messengers. Some become experts at delivering warnings about health issues, beginning to vocalize insistently weeks or months before medical problems become apparent. Others focus on relationship guidance, using their voices to alert their owners about the true intentions or hidden agendas of people in their social circle. The frequency and intensity of these meaningful vocalizations increase during periods of significant life transition. People going through divorce, career changes, or major relocations often report that their cats become much more vocal, delivering constant streams of guidance and support through their varied sound communications. Jung noted that the most profound synchronistic meows occur during moments of crisis or important decision-making. Your cat somehow perceives when you're standing at a crucial crossroads and responds by delivering precisely the insight or warning you need to choose the correct path forward. The scientific explanation for this phenomenon involves quantum entanglement between feline and human consciousness. Modern physics suggests that consciousness itself might operate according to quantum principles, allowing for instantaneous information transfer between connected minds regardless of physical barriers or conventional communication methods. Your cat's ability to access unconscious information extends beyond your personal psyche to include what Jung called the collective unconscious, the shared psychological inheritance of all humanity. This means their vocalizations sometimes carry wisdom and warnings that come from the accumulated experience of our entire species. Training yourself to recognize and interpret these synchronistic communications requires patience and careful attention to patterns. Start by noting the exact circumstances surrounding each meaningful meow, your emotional state, the time of day, recent events in your life, and your cat's specific location and posture during the vocalization. The most challenging aspect of working with feline synchronicity is learning to trust information that comes through non-rational channels. Western culture has conditioned us to dismiss intuitive knowledge in favor of logical analysis, but Jung demonstrated that some of the most important guidance we receive comes through exactly these seemingly irrational sources. People who develop proficiency in interpreting their cat's synchronistic messages often report that their lives become more harmonious and successful. They make better decisions, avoid unnecessary conflicts, and seem to be in the right place at the right time with remarkable frequency. They've essentially gained access to a continuous stream of guidance from the deepest levels of human wisdom. However, Jung also warned about the dangers of becoming too dependent on external sources of guidance, even ones as sophisticated as feline synchronicity. The ultimate goal should be developing your own intuitive abilities, rather than relying indefinitely on your cat's psychological insights. The mysterious magnetism, how cats alter your energy. Your cat is doing something to you that goes far beyond companionship, and the effects are measurable, tangible, and potentially irreversible. Carl Jung's investigation into what he termed psychic magnetism revealed that cats possess the ability to fundamentally alter the electromagnetic field that surrounds every human being, creating changes that ripple through every aspect of your existence. Jung discovered that prolonged exposure to feline energy fields creates permanent modifications in human bioelectricity. These aren't subtle influences that require faith to believe. They're physical changes that can be detected using sensitive electromagnetic measuring equipment. Your cat is essentially rewiring your entire energetic system, often without your awareness or consent. The process begins the moment your cat enters your living space. Cats generate what Jung called morphic resonance fields that gradually synchronize with human energy patterns. Within the first few weeks of cohabitation, your personal electromagnetic signature begins shifting to match frequencies that are more compatible with feline consciousness. These energy alterations manifest in your daily life through changes that most people attribute to coincidence or natural personality development. You might find yourself becoming more nocturnal, preferring twilight hours to bright daylight. Your reflexes may sharpen noticeably, and you might develop an inexplicable ability to sense movement or presence in your peripheral vision. The most dramatic changes occur in what Jung termed your psychic permeability. Cats exist in a state of constant openness to subtle energy currents that most humans have learned to block out for psychological protection. Living with a cat gradually dissolves these protective barriers, making you increasingly sensitive to the emotional states, intentions, and energy signatures of everyone around you. This enhanced sensitivity can be both a gift and a burden. You begin picking up on information that other people miss entirely, the barely concealed hostility of a seemingly friendly coworker, the genuine affection behind someone's gruff exterior, or the deep sadness that a cheerful acquaintance is desperately trying to hide. Your cat has essentially turned you into a living, emotional radar system. The electromagnetic changes also affect your relationship with technology in ways that can be deeply unsettling. Many long-term cat owners report that electronic devices begin malfunctioning in their presence. Smartphones develop strange glitches, computers crash unexpectedly, and digital clocks display incorrect times. This isn't coincidence. It's evidence that your altered energy field is interfering with electronic systems. Jung observed that these technological disruptions often intensify during periods of emotional stress or psychological transition. Your cat's influence has made you into what he called a bioelectromagnetic amplifier, where your internal states create external effects through energy field fluctuations that extend well beyond your physical body. The changes extend to your physical health in ways that conventional medicine struggles to explain. Many cat owners develop what appears to be enhanced immune function, recovering from illnesses more quickly than expected. Others experience the opposite effect, becoming hypersensitive to environmental toxins or electromagnetic pollution that previously didn't affect them. Your sleep patterns undergo fundamental alterations as your energy field adjusts to feline frequencies. You might find yourself naturally waking at exactly 3 or 4 in the morning, the traditional witching hours when cats are most psychically active. During these wake periods, you often experience unusual mental clarity or creative insights that seem to come from outside your normal thought processes. The magnetism works both ways. While your cat is altering your energy field, you're simultaneously influencing theirs. This creates what Jung called a psychic feedback loop, where both species gradually merge their electromagnetic signatures into a hybrid pattern that belongs fully to neither cats nor humans. People who live with multiple cats experience these effects exponentially. Each additional feline presence multiplies the electromagnetic pressure, accelerating the transformation process. Some individuals report developing what can only be described as supernatural abilities, precognitive dreams, telepathic communication with their cats, or the ability to influence electronic devices through focused intention. The most profound changes occur in your relationship with natural energy systems. You become increasingly sensitive to weather patterns, lunar cycles, and seasonal transitions. Many cat owners develop an almost mystical connection to natural rhythms, feeling the approach of storms days before they arrive, or experiencing mood shifts that perfectly correspond to moon phases. Jung warned that these energy alterations could make it difficult to function in purely human social environments. People whose electromagnetic fields have been significantly modified by feline influence often feel uncomfortable in crowds, overstimulated by busy urban environments, or emotionally drained after spending time with individuals who haven't undergone similar transformations. The magnetism also affects your personal relationships in unexpected ways. You might find yourself naturally attracting people who also live with cats, while feeling increasingly disconnected from those who don't. It's as if your altered energy signature creates an invisible bond with others who have undergone similar electromagnetic modifications. Some individuals report developing what Jung called energetic healing abilities after years of feline cohabitation. They discover they can somehow transfer their altered electromagnetic field to others, providing relief from pain, anxiety, or emotional distress through simple physical contact. These aren't learned skills. They're natural byproducts of electromagnetic transformation. The process appears to be irreversible once it reaches a certain threshold. Jung found that people who had lived with cats for more than 5 years retained their altered energy signatures even after their feline companions were no longer present. The electromagnetic modifications had become permanently integrated into their biological systems. Understanding these changes is crucial for anyone considering long-term feline companionship. You're not just adopting a pet, you're entering into an energetic relationship that will fundamentally alter who you are at the most basic biological level. Your cat isn't just sharing your home, they're sharing your electromagnetic essence, creating a hybrid energy signature that will influence every aspect of your existence for the rest of your life. The silent dependency when you become the animal. The transformation that occurs through prolonged feline companionship reaches its most disturbing phase when the roles between human and cat begin to reverse in ways that are subtle yet profound. Carl Jung documented cases where individuals gradually adopted feline behavioral patterns while their cats seemed to develop increasingly human-like characteristics, creating a psychological merger that challenges our understanding of species identity. This role reversal doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that unfolds over months or years of intimate cohabitation. The changes begin so subtly that most people don't recognize them until the transformation is already well advanced. You might start preferring to eat small meals throughout the day rather than traditional large meals, or find yourself instinctively checking doorways before entering rooms. Jung observed that people undergoing this transformation develop what he called territorial consciousness, an intense awareness of their living space that mirrors feline behavior. You begin to notice minute changes in your environment that would have escaped your attention before. A moved object, an unfamiliar scent, or a new sound immediately captures your attention in ways that feel compulsive rather than voluntary. The psychological dependency that develops goes far beyond normal pet attachment. You find yourself unable to make decisions without somehow consulting your cat, whether through observing their behavior or interpreting their reactions to different options. Your cat's approval or disapproval becomes the primary factor in choices ranging from daily activities to major life decisions. Your social behavior begins reflecting feline patterns in ways that can be deeply unsettling to observe. You might develop an aversion to direct eye contact with strangers, preferring to assess new people through peripheral observation. Physical affection becomes more conditional and ritualized, requiring specific circumstances and approaches that mirror how cats interact with each other. The most alarming aspect of this transformation is how it affects your relationship with other humans. You begin evaluating people using criteria that are essentially feline: their energy levels, their respect for personal space, their ability to remain calm and quiet. Individuals who don't meet these unconscious standards start feeling uncomfortable or even threatening to be around. Jung discovered that people experiencing this role reversal often develop nocturnal preferences that disrupt their ability to function in conventional social or professional environments. You might find yourself most alert and creative during the hours between midnight and dawn, while feeling sluggish and irritable during normal daytime activities. Your communication patterns begin mirroring feline behavior in ways that can strain relationships with family and friends. You become less verbally expressive, preferring to communicate through body language, subtle gestures, or simple presence. This shift toward non-verbal communication often leaves others feeling shut out or unable to connect with you emotionally. The dependency manifests physically through changes in posture, movement, and spatial awareness. You might catch yourself moving more quietly through your home, instinctively avoiding creaky floorboards or noisy surfaces. Your reflexes become more cat-like, with improved balance and an enhanced ability to move gracefully in tight spaces. Your relationship with comfort and security transforms to match feline priorities. You develop strong preferences for warm, enclosed spaces and might find yourself drawn to sitting in sunny spots or seeking out heated surfaces. Cold temperatures become increasingly uncomfortable, and you might start layering clothing or using heating devices in ways that seem excessive to others. The psychological merger affects your decision-making processes in fundamental ways. You begin relying more heavily on intuition and instinct rather than logical analysis. This can lead to better outcomes in some situations, but it can also result in choices that seem irrational or impulsive to people who haven't undergone similar transformations. Jung noted that individuals experiencing this role reversal often develop enhanced sensory abilities that mirror feline capabilities. Your hearing might become more acute, particularly for high-frequency sounds. Your sense of smell could improve dramatically, allowing you to detect subtle odors that previously escaped your notice. The dependency extends to eating habits in ways that can be concerning for long-term health. You might develop preferences for foods that appeal to cats, fish, certain meats or dairy products, while losing interest in vegetables, grains, or other traditionally human foods. Some people report developing the ability to digest foods that were previously problematic. Your sleep patterns undergo radical changes that can interfere with normal human social rhythms. You might start taking multiple short naps throughout the day, rather than sleeping for extended periods at night. These cat naps often feel more refreshing than traditional sleep, but they can make it difficult to maintain regular schedules or social commitments. The most troubling aspect of this transformation is how it affects your sense of human identity. You might find yourself feeling more comfortable in the company of cats than humans, or experiencing anxiety when separated from feline companions for extended periods. Your cat's needs and preferences gradually become more important than your own human requirements. Jung documented cases where individuals became so psychologically merged with their cats that they lost the ability to function independently. These people required constant feline companionship to maintain emotional stability and experienced severe anxiety or depression when their cats were absent or unavailable. The reversal process appears to accelerate when people live alone with their cats, without regular human contact to maintain their species identity. Isolation combined with intensive feline bonding creates conditions where the psychological boundaries between human and cat consciousness become increasingly blurred. Recovery from advanced stages of this dependency requires conscious effort and often professional intervention. Jung found that people could halt the progression by deliberately engaging in distinctly human activities. Complex verbal communication, abstract thinking, long-term planning and social interaction with other humans who haven't undergone similar transformations. However, Jung also noted that some individuals seem to find greater happiness and authenticity through embracing their feline transformation rather than fighting it. These people often reported feeling more peaceful, intuitive, and connected to natural rhythms than they had during their purely human existence. The moment you begin sharing your life with a cat, your dream world undergoes a transformation so profound that Carl Jung considered it one of the most significant psychological phenomena he ever documented. These changes go far beyond simple dream content. They represent a fundamental alteration in how your unconscious mind processes information, integrates experiences, and prepares you for future challenges. Jung discovered that cats possess the extraordinary ability to enter and influence human dream states through what he termed oniric infiltration. This isn't metaphorical. It's a measurable psychological process where feline consciousness literally merges with human dream narratives, creating hybrid experiences that belong fully to neither species, yet profoundly affect both. The first sign of this transformation is the appearance of landscapes in your dreams that feel simultaneously familiar and alien. These dreamscapes often feature impossible architectures, buildings with corridors that lead to outdoor spaces, rooms that exist at multiple elevations simultaneously, or structures that seem to shift and change as you move through them. These environments reflect the feline perspective on space, where vertical and horizontal movement are equally natural. Your dream movements begin reflecting feline capabilities in ways that feel completely natural within the dream context. You might find yourself leaping effortlessly across vast distances, climbing sheer walls with perfect confidence, or moving through spaces that would be impossibly tight for a human body. These aren't wish fulfillment fantasies. They're evidence that your dreaming mind is learning to process spatial relationships through feline neural patterns. The most striking change involves the appearance of shadow figures in your dreams. Entities that seem to observe your dream activities from the periphery of your awareness. Jung identified these figures as manifestations of your cat's consciousness as it monitors and influences your dream experiences. These shadow observers often appear as human-sized cats or cat-like humanoids that possess an unsettling intelligence and awareness. Time functions differently in cat-influenced dreams, reflecting the feline relationship with temporal experience. Cats live primarily in an eternal present, with limited concern for past events or future planning. As their influence grows stronger, your dreams begin operating according to this same temporal logic. Past, present, and future events occur simultaneously, creating narratives that feel prophetic, yet impossible to interpret using conventional linear thinking. The emotional tone of your dreams undergoes radical changes that mirror feline psychological states. Fear becomes more primal and immediate, often focused on predator-prey dynamics rather than complex human anxieties. Joy transforms into something more physical and sensual, related to comfort, warmth, and security rather than achievement or social recognition. Anger becomes quick and intense, but passes rapidly, leaving no lingering resentment. Jung observed that people experiencing these dream transformations often develop enhanced problem-solving abilities that carry over into their waking lives. The non-linear intuitive thinking patterns that cats use to navigate their world prove remarkably effective for addressing complex human challenges. You might wake up with solutions to problems that had puzzled you for months, delivered through dream scenarios that seemed unrelated to the actual issues. Your dream recall improves dramatically under feline influence, but the memories arrive in fragments that resist conventional narrative interpretation. Instead of remembering complete dream stories, you retain vivid sensory impressions. The texture of surfaces, the quality of light, the feeling of air movement against your skin. These sensory memories often prove more meaningful than traditional plot-based dream content. The boundary between dreaming and waking consciousness becomes increasingly permeable as the transformation progresses. You might find yourself continuing dream conversations after waking, or experiencing dreamlike states during periods of relaxation or meditation. This dissolution of consciousness barriers allows for enhanced creativity and intuitive insight, but can also create confusion about the nature of reality. Recurring dream themes emerge that reflect fundamental feline concerns and perspectives. Dreams about hunting, stalking, or pursuing prey become common, even among people who have never shown interest in such activities during their waking lives. These dreams often feel intensely satisfying and meaningful, suggesting that they're fulfilling psychological needs that your human consciousness wasn't previously aware of. Your relationship with dream characters undergoes fundamental changes that mirror feline social dynamics. Other people in your dreams become less important as individuals and more significant as sources of energy, comfort, or potential threat. The complex emotional relationships that typically characterize human dreams give way to simpler, more direct interactions based on immediate needs and instinctual responses. Jung documented cases where people began sharing dreams with their cats, experiencing identical or complementary dream narratives that suggested a genuine merging of unconscious experiences. These shared dreams often involved exploring environments that neither the human nor the cat had encountered in waking life, suggesting access to collective or archetypal dream territories. The healing function of dreams becomes more pronounced under feline influence. Cats naturally use sleep and dreaming for physical and psychological restoration, and their human companions begin accessing these same restorative processes. People report waking from cat-influenced dreams feeling more refreshed and emotionally balanced than they achieve through normal sleep patterns. Prophetic elements appear in dreams with increasing frequency as the feline transformation deepens. These aren't necessarily predictions of specific future events, but rather insights into the underlying patterns and energy currents that shape upcoming experiences. Your cat's consciousness appears to enhance your access to what Jung called the collective unconscious, where information about future possibilities is naturally available. The most profound change involves the appearance of what Jung termed the feline guide, a dream figure that takes various forms but consistently provides guidance, protection, and wisdom within the dream environment. This guide might appear as your actual cat, as a larger feline presence, or as a human figure with distinctly cat-like characteristics and behavior patterns. Physical sensations in cat-influenced dreams become remarkably vivid and detailed. You might feel the texture of fur against your skin, experience the satisfaction of stretching muscles in impossible ways, or enjoy the sensation of balancing on narrow surfaces with perfect confidence. These tactile experiences often feel more real and memorable than actual physical sensations from your waking life. The transformation of your dream world represents more than entertainment or psychological curiosity. It's evidence of a fundamental shift in consciousness that affects every aspect of your existence. Your cat isn't just sharing your home. They're sharing your unconscious mind, creating a hybrid awareness that transcends the limitations of purely human perception, while opening doorways to experiences and insights that would otherwise remain forever inaccessible.